Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans. The Thing Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt. Been rolling 10 years, y'all, and nobody's came up and said anything. When you pass information, you pass it the simplest way you can. They'll get it. They'll get it. The people of America, the Americans, didn't find a way to America in the trunk of a ship. What we're doing and what we're saying is for the indigenous people. It's like you see on the logo that I had. When all these nations first started coming, who were the people that they saw? Saw you. They saw your hand. They saw you. You are your grandfather. You are your great great grandfathers. You are your great great grandmothers. This is what reproduce is about. These are simple things that are not taught in the public food system. What those people on that map, what were their religious ideologies? How did they cook? What did their houses look like? The reason the word black is put on you so you will never go search that. Be careful who you pretend to be. You might forget who you are. Has that happened? Do you see that on a daily basis? Do you see people trying to run away from themselves every day? In almost every instance, that's what you see. Now, remember, this is what's being shown to you. But when you go out into the world and see and look around, you can see it how we walk, talk, how we respect each other. What those people on that island right there, on that landmass right there, which is you, how did they relate to each other? You can see it on the map. How come that isn't done now? And when we say we, are we talking about those people right there? Because a lot of people like to get up and talk, but you're just confusing everybody. That's why we say if you got questions, if you have something you want to add, the link is in the description box. Because we love to hear other voices. So all we're doing here at African American is making sure the indigenous people of America are viable. Whoever's now with that, please come up and explain why. Explain why. When you spend your life trying to become other people, Greeks, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, all of this, when you look at yourself through those lenses, you automatically omit, you blacken out your. What, what do the indigenous people call the Most High? What did Chitamacha call the Most High? What was the Accomax version of God? What were they? And how come black people don't ever ask those questions? Because remember, they've taken themselves out of the life form, out of what they're supposed to be. So I get this right here today. And you know, this is what happens to black people. So this was posted in the group today. Police caught selling guns to gangs in Chicago. Automatically, your higher self should kick in. Haven't they been giving guns to the youth 100, 150 years? Giving them, I mean, you get it from the military, but. And why do black people think the way to win a war with these people is to get the guns that they sold you and the ammunition you're going to have to buy from them? My question is, how do you win that? How are you going to win that? How you going to win that? Because when you run out of bullets, what, they're going to sell you bullets? You see, this is how black people think. You got all these, I don't know what they are, on all these guns. I guess it's to impress us. But remember, we're around this word black. Remember the last time that happened, it was some cats called the Black Panthers. What happened to them? First of all, they were a CIA setup from the jump. If you don't see that, sorry for you. All you have to do is look up the setup of the organization, 5 seconds, and you will know. How come black people don't know? You really want to know why? You really want to know why? How come it's never seen? How come we never get it? So-called black people never get it because you look at yourself as that. You don't know who it is. They don't move. They have no identity. Nothing. That's who you say you are. But isn't there a part of you that takes oxygen to the lungs? That when it's time to pee, you don't think of that. It just comes on. When you have thoughts and ideas and dreams, you don't physically do that. That's another part of you. Is that part black? No. Yet you repeat that word over and over again to direct yourself to be black, don't you? Now, the average person would be, that's exactly how it happens. Repetition. Nobody else has to say it. They just get you to say it. I have never seen a person that looked like what you see on the screen now. I never seen nobody. They're black. And then not being aware of who you are, you're coming with all kind of excuses and confusion and hand it off to the kids. Who do you think these people call themselves? What did you think these people thought they were? Why did everybody in the world want to come over and have what the indigenous people of America had? That's who you are. You are the building blocks of that. But somebody told you were something else. You could be somebody else. And as usual, you jumped in and wanted to be that. So So what I've been doing, lately is for Thanksgiving, nobody eats. Everybody fasts in reverence of your ancestors. I've been cussed out 3 times. You see something that meaningful, something that simple, what you call black don't get it. They're just going with tradition, somebody else tradition. Don't even look up their own, but will go out and confuse masses. Make sure you stay dumb. Make sure your children become dumb. I had a listener the other day hit me and ask me, why do you think it took people so long to catch up to Umar Johnson? Told her you didn't want to know the answer because you'll get mad, but it's the truth. And we're gonna have to start dealing with the truth if we're gonna start seeing ourselves clear of all of this. It's not what other people name you, it's what you refer yourself as. People just can't come up with a name or a title and place it on you unless you say so. And those indigenous people you see on the map, I don't think they introduced themselves to the world as African Americans, blacks, Hebrew Israelites, did they? That what they call yourself, Black Americans? Really? You would think by now that name would have been in the garbage bin a long time ago. When you refer to yourself as nothing, you will be nothing. That's why it's always said, that's why the music is hated now when they uh, refer to these women as bees and hoes, referring to the young men as niggas. They're not that. They don't even know what it is. Don't care. That's what black people do. I put the link to the chat in the chat box. Please, somebody explain it. And it makes sense. Communicate. Communicate. Stop letting the egos get in the way. We've all experienced the same things. Shouldn't we be able to just communicate? Why you say you just hate your African self? What part of Africa am I from? I don't know, but you from over there somewhere. Does that sound like a person who's in their right mind? No. You went to school. Your first school was Sunday school. They told you some things. All you know, all you repeat is what you've been told. Yes or no. Yes or no. That's why you can't read today. I can read. Okay, you can pronounce the words, but do you comprehend what is being said? and you pick out one sentence from anywhere and read it, the average, I'm not saying all, the average will know what you're talking about. That's how you're trained in these institutions. Do you think the people who went to school in Nebraska was taught the same thing as the people in New York? Do you think the people who were taught in Georgia is taught the same thing as people in Idaho? You think the people in Oregon were taught the same thing as people in Alabama? Huh? So when you say we, watch what you're saying. When you say we, watch what you're saying. Just say you. So when you say we were slaves, and I say, how are we slaves and we were in the military simultaneously? Explain that. Somebody comes over to your land, takes it, and make you, because that's who it is, make you go off and fight in somebody else's war while your people is here enslaved. Explain. This is for the people who say we all the time. All you're doing is confusing them. Explain it. Explain the slave ship story. Explain it. And you can't, but you'll keep believing the lie. Then you'll teach your children that lie, which they'll probably teach their children that lie, which means they'll teach their children that lie until you pop back up. Isn't that what reproduce mean? Reproduce yourself. You think something dies? I thought energy never, it just transmute into something else. And being that you aren't your physical body, we're not teaching our children this. Giving them cell phones, video games, and you wonder. And don't think it's all, we try to look at things like there's a certain element that just don't fit in, the so-called black man. No, nobody fits in. You live in the most corrupt demon society ever, right? Right? Well, how do we fix it? There you go with that word, we again. Because when you say we, somebody come and offer you a new car, you will sabotage the whole thing. Isn't that what black people do? Lie and trick. The Black Panthers, they fed the children with government food for free. You think the government gave an entity that was fighting against them food for black people? Believe that. They believe that. You can tell them anything. You can tell them anything. Check this out. See if this is bullshit. You got New Year coming up in April. Watch what people do in January, all off. No connection to the planet. No connection to the time space continuum that they're in. So they just threw the time back. What do you think that does? I know most people don't care. It's courses for economic purposes. But what does that do to the people living on the planet? Playing with time. Like you can just change time when you want to. Hmm? So this Thanksgiving fast. Can you imagine if everybody did that? What would happen? I mean, most people can't go one day without food, if you want to call it food. All you got to do is read the ingredients. It will tell you it's not food. And this been going on for a minute. Bioengineered, mutated chickens. All I got to do is read the labels. All you got to do is read the labels. I ain't got to read nothing. Okay. The, the bread basket to the world, the stewards who were over that was you. Like I said, to stop the redundancy of saying great, 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 I'll just say you because that's who you are. You know anything about reproduction, you know that's how it's done. Now to Lisa Cypress. Her pre-trial hearing is the 10th of this month. You can go to African Americans Ain't Africans on Facebook. It's posted up in there. But got to start showing support, more support. So check this out. Remember, I'm going to show you the support that has to be shown. Remember, and this is what I mean. We got to start being brighter because we waste a lot of energy talking about nonsense. And this is just one example. Remember a few years ago when the Washington Redskins were changing their logo and the Native Americans were out there making this big fuss and very few Negroes out there. Was given a talk, and a Native American butted in, being ignorant like they normally are and lying. I mean, that if they're speaking, they're lying. When you're speaking, make the point and move on and give the other person a chance to retort. When you keep talking and talking and talking and talking and won't shut up, we know that you were trying to sabotage the conversation. So I asked them, and it was so quiet, you could hear a rat pissing on cotton. I said, sir, those Redskins that they took off the Washington Redskins helmet, you're saying those were Native Americans? He didn't say a goddamn word because they know many of us don't know. They know most of us don't care. They can keep lying and making insane Insane claims. You're lying. And why do we waste the time arguing? That's energy that could be used elsewhere. Were those your ancestors on the Washington Redskins helmet? No. Who were they? Simple questions, y'all. Simple questions. Right in your face. Lisa Cypers' pre-trial is in Eastville, Virginia on the 10th of this month. Those of you that can support her, support her. Make this heard. Make this heard. What she's done for a lot of people. For a lot of people. Return the favor. She deserves it. She's one of the main contributors to this indigenous movement. It's you. That's why you're called Black. So you can be invisible. Don't we get that? Go to the oldest person in your family and ask them, what would happen if you called them Black when they were 15? You get the shit slapped out of you because they realized what they were doing. It was, they had been changing their identity to get them off the land forever. These are things we have to know when we open our mouths to speak. If not, you'll just keep confusion going. So yeah, the 10th of the, no, I'm sorry, the 10th of this month, Eastville, Virginia. Those of you who are in that area. And if you're up there, check out the area. I mean, check out the nature part of it. It's going to blow your mind. So teaching your kids they're Black, calling yourselves Black, keeps you immobile. It keeps you stuck. And I know many of you have heard that Black means dead. Yeah. It's not moving. It can't breathe. It can't circulate blood. That's another part of you. You're not just your physical body. You do have a higher part of you. This is the lower part of your body, what you eat or what you think you're eating, because what's being produced as food is it edible? Is it the stuff that grows from trees, or is something that's made in the lab and we've convinced ourselves is good because it's sweet? We're going to run into you guys next time. Peace.